In this Identity Guard review, I'm going to go over the most important factors to consider when deciding if this long-standing identity theft protection solution is the right choice for keeping you and your family safe online. I've used 7 different digital security platforms to lock down my identity, and I've really grilled them to find out where each of them excels and where they start to fumble. It feels weird saying it, but I geek out on this stuff. I have my ear to the ground in the world of identity theft protection, so make sure to check out the video description for my most current deals and recommendations for you guys. Identity Guard is a great choice if you just want a stripped-down plan at an affordable price. Their dark web monitoring is one of the best out there, and you'll see just how well it performs in this video. But if you want the added benefits of a more comprehensive identity theft protection plan, then rather than climbing up their service tiers, you're probably going to be better off checking out Aura, especially if you want to protect your spouse, your kids, and even your parents. Fun fact, Aura actually owns Identity Guard, so no matter what you're looking for, you're already barking up the right tree. Now let's get down to it and see what Identity Guard has to offer for monitoring and fraud resolution, and also if the cost of their plans makes sense for you. One often overlooked but super important aspect of any identity theft protection company is the quality of their customer support team. Now don't laugh and stick with me, there's a point to be made here. Most of the companies I've worked with are pretty darn good, and Identity Guard is no exception. Their customer support team is based in the US, and in my experience, they're quite knowledgeable. Not only in the Identity Guard product and the needs of their customers, but also just general identity safety practices as a whole. But why do I even care about this? Because my experiences with the #1 most recognized brand in identity theft protection have been remarkably headache-inducing. When you call in need of their help, you're greeted with agents at call centers who seem to be reading replies off scripts. Rather than feeling like they have your back, I get the impression they're simply documenting your calls and assuring you that your plans include insurance. Maybe it's not always quite that bad, but I prefer to be working with a support team I can count on when the day comes that some identity thief intercepts my mortgage check. And luckily with Identity Guard, I'm confident that they'll be there for me in times of extreme stress. In fact, it seems like they have the same support team as Aura. Since I use both companies, when I call up Identity Guard, they can actually see my Aura account. It's led to some confusion, but in a good way. So how Identity Guard works is that you input the information that you want monitored, things like your name, email addresses, gamer tags. There are quite a few options. Identity Guard will then perform scans on an ongoing basis and notify you if they find anything of interest. Immediately upon signing up, they submit opt-out requests with data brokers on your behalf. For me, it was 30 of them right off the bat. This helps cut down on junk mail, email spam, robocalls, those kinds of things. And they actually do this on an ongoing basis. Every now and then, I get an email from them letting me know that they submitted opt-out requests with, 5 data brokers, however many it may be. And this is a nice touch. The only other company I've seen do this is Aura. They also monitor your credit records, so you'll get an alert if there are any inquiries from lenders, which may just be normal, but they could also be indicative of someone trying to open a line of credit in your name, like a credit card or a car loan. We'll talk a bit more about their full credit monitoring offerings in a minute. And similarly with utility accounts, you'll get an alert if there are any new accounts opened in your name, things like an electric service or something like that. Of course, the thing that everyone is most interested in is their dark web monitoring, and Identity Guard will scan the dark web and send you an alert if they come across your personal information. Typically, this would be available as the result of a security breach at a website you've made an account with, but there can be other sources too. Identity Guard will let you know what information they found on the dark web, where they found it, and they'll typically provide you with some suggested actions to take in response. Of course, you can call their support team if it's anything of particular concern. I'll show you what Identity Guard finds for my personal information on the dark web later in this video. But first, there are a few more aspects of monitoring that I want to go over with you guys. And to kick that off, I'll come back to credit monitoring, so I'm not leaving you hanging there. While Identity Guard's value plan offers nothing more than 1 bureau credit monitoring, you can unlock 3 bureau credit monitoring. That is from Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, as well as monthly credit scores on their upgraded plans. With their top tier Ultra plan, you can also get annual credit reports from all 3 bureaus, and even an Experian Credit Lock, which prevents unwanted inquiries into your credit file with the click of a button. For comparison, you get all of this standard on all of Aura's plans, no need to upgrade. Plus, with Aura, you're getting monthly credit scores from all 3 bureaus, whereas you're only getting the Equifax credit score with Identity Guard. And similarly, you'll need to upgrade to Identity Guard's Ultra plan if you want public record alerts like home title monitoring in case someone tries to add their name to your home deed, criminal and sex offense monitoring in case someone put your name down during an arrest, and USPS address change monitoring in case someone tries to reroute your mail. That said, these modules appear to be active in my Identity Guard account even though I'm only on the value plan. I don't have any hits though, so I can't confirm that they're working. My guess is they probably aren't. Then there's transaction monitoring, which is spread across Identity Guard's upgraded plans. You can link bank accounts, credit and debit cards, and investment accounts so you can monitor your financial activity all in one place. You can even set alert thresholds, so if it turns out that Melissa McCarthy is going on a shopping spree and downing champagne in a bubble bath on your dime, you'll get a notification so that you can take action immediately. And of course, there are a few other perks you can enjoy with Identity Guard. On their top tier Ultra plan, you can also enjoy social media monitoring, so if someone takes over your accounts and starts posting inappropriate content, you'll get an alert for that. And while Identity Guard says that all the plans include safe browsing and a password manager, only the password manager shows up on my account with the value plan. Antivirus and the VPN say they're not included, so that's something to look into further if you're particularly interested, although I think you can find better solutions elsewhere. I use different platforms for these, so I haven't looked into it any further. And before we bring it all home with fraud resolution, let's check out the most fun part of monitoring, the dark web alerts. Whenever I set up personal information monitoring with the 7 identity theft protection companies I use, I always input the same personal information as long as it's allowed. And Identity Guard allows me to monitor all of my email addresses, and more. So they're looking at everything. Some companies have somewhat limiting restrictions on the number of email addresses you can monitor, like LifeLock and Complete ID only allow you to monitor 5 and 4 email addresses respectively. That's not quite enough for me. So when that happens, I make sure to leave out email addresses that turn up no dark web alerts from the other companies. I do my best to keep everything fair despite the limitations from some of the other companies. Identity Guard's dark web monitoring turns up a total of 18 dark web alerts for my personal information. And of those 18, 9 of them are unique. The unique hits include one of my Gmail logins, which is no good. But at least now I know how people were getting into all of my accounts a few years back. They were all tied to that Gmail in one way or another. I obviously changed the password for that reason, but it's good to know where it all started. Other unique hits come from breaches at websites you probably know, like Adobe, Dropbox, and MySpace. Yeah, I had a MySpace account. It even went for my first band. I think the second band I was in had one too, but I didn't make that account. More hits come from Ticketfly, Canva, Twitter, and a couple of smaller websites called Adobe Music and Chegg that most people probably haven't heard of. And then all those non-unique hits are from breach compilations, which is when someone puts loads of login credentials in a nice convenient package on the dark web to help out their fellow internet pirates, identity thieves included. So how does Identity Guard compare to the other companies I've used? Well, before I tell you, I just want to mention that there's no perfect crossover from company to company. One platform's always finding some hits that another isn't. But what's really clear is that some companies have poor dark web monitoring, while others are pretty freaking thorough. For example, Identity IQ turns up no dark web alerts whatsoever. None. Norton's LifeLock turns up a total of 8 dark web alerts. And although they're all unique, LifeLock's not even finding my leaked Gmail credentials. Like, seriously? Aura turns up the exact same dark web alerts as Identity Guard, so 18 total and 9 unique hits. So I guess I wasn't super precise with my comment earlier about no perfect crossover, but that's because Aura and Identity Guard are using the exact same technology to scan the dark web. And the only other one that does better than Identity Guard and Aura is Identity Force. But much like Identity Guard, Identity Force has a lot of its benefits locked up in a tiered structure, and they don't offer that great stripped down value plan like Identity Guard. Regardless, Identity Guard's dark web monitoring is really top notch, which is why I think their value plan is such a great deal. But then of course we have to talk about fraud resolution. And while I've already told you Identity Guard's customer support team is fantastic, there are a few shortcomings here. Most importantly, you don't get white glove fraud resolution with Identity Guard unless you upgrade to their top tier Ultra plan. So in the event you're a victim of identity theft, I'm sure their customer support team will point you in the right direction, but it's going to be up to you to do the legwork. And that can take hours and hours of your time, and you're not going to be in the best mindset working through it. And while you can cover up to 5 adults and unlimited children on Identity Guard's family plans, the identity theft insurance is capped at $1 million. That's totally standard, and it's nothing against them for that, but with Aura you get up to $1 million in identity theft insurance per adult, which is up to $5 million on their family plan. Aura also includes that white glove fraud resolution and all the other benefits they have to offer on all their plans. So I think if you just want great dark web monitoring at an affordable price, Identity Guard is a good way to go. As I'm filming, it's only $750 per month for an individual billed annually, or $899 billed monthly. But if you upgrade to the mid-tier total plan, it's $1667 per month for an individual billed annually, or $1999 per month billed monthly at the time I'm filming. That's already more expensive than Aura, and you haven't even unlocked all the benefits yet. And that's before you apply my discounts. Remember to check out my links in the video description for my latest deals and recommendations. If you want to learn more, you can check out my comparison of Aura and Identity Guard right here on this channel. I also have an Aura review there, and I have tons more in the queue for you guys, so stay tuned.